Hello, my name is Songyao, and I'm an assistant professor of philosophy in the School of Arts and Humanities. As an ethicist, I'm interested in the question of what the good life consists in. To study that question, my work adopts a cross-cultural and interdisciplinary approach. To start, I think there are a plurality of philosophical traditions that offer distinct insights about questions concerning human flourishing. By studying these philosophical traditions and bringing them into conversations with each other, I hope to expand our philosophical imagination and open our eyes to the varieties of moral possibilities. I'm also interested in the ways in which moral philosophy could be enriched by other disciplines. My research draws from works in psychology, neuroscience, anthropology, evolutionary psychology, etc., in order to develop a kind of ethical reflection that's grounded in a realistic moral psychology. One project that I'm currently working on studies philosophical resources for cultivating resilience amidst grief. The emotion of grief often occurs in the context of the loss of a loved one. Insofar as grief reflects our appreciation for the beloved, it is often thought to be not only expected, but also morally obligatory. Despite this, the persistent form of intense grief, which in psychology is referred to as complicated grief, can cause significant harm to one's well-being. So here's an example. When the novelist and theologian C.S. Lewis lost his wife, whose name is Joy, Lewis said, his grief felt like being mildly drunk or concussed. There was a sort of invisible blanket between the world and him. Grief made him loathe the slightest effort in anything. Not only writing, but even reading a letter, or even shaving was too much. The good news is that grief does not always have to be so devastating. When the early Chinese philosopher Zhuangzi lost his wife, he was moved at first, just like everyone else. However, he was able to detach himself from his small perspective and came to embrace the whole. He realized that birth and death were part of the larger process of change, just like the progression of the four seasons. And this brought solace to him. When his friend later found him, Zhuangzi was pounding on a tub and singing. In a way, grief is inevitable, since as humans, we are vulnerable to losses beyond our control. However, I believe there are many philosophical resources that are also empirically grounded, and that could allow us to shift perspectives and cultivate resilience in the midst of grief.